Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share a couple of Maybelline makeup products that did not really work out for me, and these products are loved by a lot on the internet, but sadly they were a disappointment to my experience. So please do not come at me if you happen to like some of these makeup products. They just did not work out for me. So let's begin. Let's start this video on a lighter note. So the first product that I have is this Maybelline Tattoo Brow Styling Gel. So this is basically like a eyebrow gel. This is in the shade Deep Brown. The packaging and everything is really nice. So the first thing that I did not like about this product is the shade itself. It's a very ashy kind of a brown. I like a sort of a neutral kind of a tone on my eyebrows, not too warm, not too cool like this one. This comes off as a very ashy brown on my eyebrows. The applicator is pretty good. The standard eyebrow gel applicator works well. It's a waterproof formulation, so that's also amazing. But I do not like the formula of this brow gel as well. It's a very stiff kind of a brow gel. You can really feel the eyebrows crunching. So that's the kind of stiffness that this brow gel gives on your eyebrows. I want my eyebrows to be held in place very nice and intact, but not crunchy or very hard to touch. That's exactly what this brow gel does. Your brows become very stiff and very crunchy, and also is super hard to remove as well because it's a waterproof formulation. All in all, this product did not really work out for me. This is loved by a lot of Western influencers, not a lot of Indian influencers that I have seen, but sadly this just did not work out for me from Maybelline. Okay, the next product that I have is well loved by a lot of people, so please do not hate on me for saying this. So I'm talking about the Instant Age Rewind Concealer from Maybelline. So this one I got about 2.5 years ago. As you can see, I have used up quite a bit. I've used it only because I got it, so I had to some way use it up. So that's the reason the bottle is kind of empty, but I never really enjoy using this product whenever I try to use it on myself. By the way, this is in the shade Caramel. This is the deepest shade that they have in this concealer range, which is ridiculous. I mean, come on, it's 2024 and we have these kind of shades as deepest shades available in the Indian market. It's such a shame. This is a couple of shades lighter to my skin tone. I can only use it to highlight and not really conceal my hyperpigmentation or darkness. Now, the problem that I have faced with this concealer is that it's a very thick formulation. I've never really enjoyed the way this looked on my skin, meaning it kind of sits on the top layers of my skin and doesn't really mesh along with my skin. I want my concealer to be a bit blended with the rest of the makeup, but whenever I use this, I see that this just sits on top of my skin. Very thick formulation, kind of even stiff and slightly hard to blend when compared to other concealers that I love. And because it's a lighter shade of concealer and with that kind of a matteness and dryness to it, it looks very patchy and makeupy on my skin, which I do not like at all. Not really a huge fan of the packaging as well. As you can see, it gets all messy on the sponge tip applicator that they give, and as you can see, it's become very squishy and mushy right now because of the amount of times that I have used this concealer. So yeah, that's a very messy packaging. Probably the most messiest concealer packaging that I have in my collection. I really wish they do something about the packaging, but hear me out. This is the old formulation. I hear that they have a better and reformulated formulation, so I gave in another time and got a new Age Rewind Concealer from Maybelline just to try it out and give it another chance. I really want to try and love it too. So yeah, I'm just putting it out there just in case if you happen to see me use this concealer in the near future or something. It's the new one, not the older one. The older one is way more cakey, way more drying, very unflattering on the skin. I do not really like it. And the shade range is something I won't even speak on. Okay, the next product that I have is again a very popular product from Maybelline, and this was launched years ago. So I'm talking about the Maybelline Master Chrome Face Studio highlighter in the shade Molten Gold. They had two different shades to choose from. One is this golden shade and the other one is a rose gold shade. Now, apart from the shade being warm and golden and slightly deep enough, I don't really like the other things that this highlighter does on my skin. Now, this one was launched a couple of years back, probably 7-8 years ago, and during that time, highlighter was the it thing. Everyone loved their highlighter and everyone wanted to highlighters to be blinding and seen from the heaven. So that's the kind of highlighter this is. When you touch it, it fairly feels soft and buttery, but to see that it's an intense highlighter. You could really use this as a eyeshadow. It's that intense of a highlighter. You see that it's super potent, and I do not like this kind of a highlighter on my textured skin, to be very honest. When you try to blend it out, you can really see the shimmer and glitter particles sitting on the skin. It's a bit of a heavy highlighter for my liking. Whenever I have used this, I have always felt like it emphasized the texture on my skin and not really add a subtle, glowy, healthy look. Even if I use a super light hand, the shimmers still show up on my skin and emphasize all the texture, like I said. So that's the sole reason that I do not like this highlighter. I might have used this in the past only because there were very limited shades of highlighter shades available for duskier skin tones back then. Now we have plenty of options and I never really care about this highlighter anymore. My K-Beauty one is much better. The LA Girl highlighter, which is what I'm wearing right now, is so beautiful, so finely milled. They have multiple shades to choose from. It doesn't really emphasize the texture. As you can see, it's just imparting a subtle glow on the skin, which I love. But the Master Chrome from Maybelline is not my cup of tea. This can be used as a great eyeshadow, by the way, because of the intensity that it has. Look at that. It can be a very nice molten gold eyeshadow on your eyes. Probably that would be the only purpose that I would be reusing this highlighter for, not really on my cheeks. Okay, the next product that I have is something that I have had in my vanity from a couple of years, probably ever since this lipstick launched. So I'm talking about the Maybelline Bullet lipstick. This is their creamy matte lipstick, I believe, and this is in the shade Nude Nuance. The reason I do not like this lipstick is not because of the formula or the finish of it, but the shade itself is such a bummer on my brown skin tone. Nude Nuance is such a popular shade of lipstick even today. A lot of people say that it works amazingly well on duskier brown skin tones as a nude brown, but I completely disagree. It's a very pale mauvey pink shade, looks very unflattering on my skin tone. Whenever I have used this, I've not really enjoyed it like how it is portrayed on the internet. This is said to be the most gorgeous nude shades, especially for duskier skin tones, but it is not. Please don't get fooled by all the swatches that you see online, because that's how I got it as well. Seeing other people wear it on their lighter skin tones and it looked fabulous on them, but definitely not so fabulous on my brown skin. When I got it for the first time, I had really high expectations from this shade, but it really disappointed me big time. It looked like a very beautiful deep rosy mauve shade on other fairer girls. There were not really a lot of brown girls showing this shade on themselves, so that's how I got fooled by it. Until date, it just lies around in my vanity. I don't really use it. I never really think about it. So yeah, the formula is really nice though. It's very creamy, rich, gives a velvety matte finish on the skin. It's not very long lasting, but has a decent lasting power on the lips. Not gonna deny that for being so affordable. If you're someone who takes my skin tone as a reference to buy your makeup, don't get Nude Nuance from Maybelline. There are many other gorgeous lipstick shades available in the market now for us brown girls when compared to Nude Nuance from Maybelline that looks stunning on us. Even today, I see a lot of people recommending the shade nude nuance to dusky brown skin tones. Please don't get fooled by it like how I was. Just skip this lipstick and buy some other nice deep shade of lipstick for your brown skin. I mean, if you see the swatch, I can make it work somehow with a brown lip liner and everything, but it's gonna take a bit of hard work. So if you don't mind that, get it. If you don't, please skip on it if you have brown dusky skin tone. So the next product that I have is well loved by many even till date, and probably you're gonna hate me for mentioning this product in this video, but please don't, please hear me out. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. Take a moment. Yes, I do not like this powder at all. As you can see, I've not really used it at all. It's still full. I got it a couple of years back and it is so full because I don't like it. By the way, this is in the shade 30 medium deep. The shade is alright. I'm not complaining about the shade. It's a slightly lighter shade but works when it comes to baking and setting the skin. I like a bit of a lighter tone of powder on my skin tone, but I don't really like the formula of this powder at all. Whenever I have tried to use this and bake using it, I've always hated how my base looked. It just makes my makeup look so cakey, so thick, just sits on top of the skin and doesn't really blend along with the other products that are there on the skin. It's not a cute look. It can also get patchy very quickly, so you have to be extremely careful with the application as well. I don't really think you can bake with this powder, how a lot of people love to use this powder. I never really enjoyed using this powder to bake or even set my makeup for that matter. Never really liked how this powder looked on my skin. Even though being an oily skinned person, I should have loved this powder for being a great mattifying powder, but I don't. It's very matte for my liking. It's a very matte, unflattering powder for my liking. Very patchy, thick. You can really sense the powder sitting on the skin. It's not a finely milled thin sulfur consistency. You can literally feel it on the skin. It's priced very affordably. I wish it had worked out for me for being so affordable and comes with a great quantity, but I do not. I like my K-Beauty loose powder way more than this one. That's a very light, finely milled powder, perfect for baking, setting, everything that you want to do with your loose setting powder. But this one was such a huge disappointment from Maybelline for me. Okay, the next product that I want to mention is their eyeshadow palette, which unfortunately I do not have with me right now. I think I decluttered it some time ago, but I'm talking about the Nudes palette. I believe it's a neutral toned eyeshadow palette. That was such a popular eyeshadow palette, loved by many, but I never really enjoyed using that eyeshadow palette. I see that the rosier version is still available on stock on Nykaa, but not the OG one. I also had this one that is available in stock. I also had the rosy palette with me and never really enjoyed it. It's the same kind of formulation and the formula wasn't great. It was a bit patchy, not very smooth, not really pigmented like how it is portrayed on the internet. The shades were okay. They were not really very flattering on deeper, warm, rich, chocolatey skin tones like me. So the matte shadows were very hard to blend on the eyes and not very flattering shades for brown girls. Probably the shimmer shadows were better than the mattes that were there in the palette, but overall it was such a waste of money in my opinion. The Wet n Wild eyeshadow palettes work so much better. The Swiss Beauty ones, even the 9-pan eyeshadow palettes, are amazing and much cheaper. The Nika K ones are amazing and so much more affordable. That particular eyeshadow palette from Maybelline was a big miss for me. I think they're gonna discontinue the rosy palette also very soon. Honestly, that's outdated. Brands are coming up with such amazing quality eyeshadows. Oh, I totally forgot to mention about Mars. Mars makes some killer eyeshadow palettes under such a great budget. So yeah, Maybelline had to take a step on that eyeshadow palette and remove it from their collection. That's happening for good in my opinion. It had to be discontinued. I'm so happy that it's not available anymore except for the rosy one. Please don't get it if you're thinking about getting it. It's such a waste of money. Go for Mars, Swiss Beauty, some other nice brands which sell some other incredible brands that have killer eyeshadow palettes. So yeah, those were all of the makeup products that were a disappointment from Maybelline for me, for my experience on my skin type, my skin tone and everything. They just do not work out for me. I'm really sorry if you happen to love any of these makeup products. Sadly, they just did not work out for me in my favor. Let me know if you also want to see best of Maybelline products that worked amazingly well for me. I would be happy to create one for you all. So yeah, that's it. That's about this video. I really hope that you guys found this useful and helpful and enjoyed watching it. If you did, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up, comment, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Also follow me on my Instagram. I'll put the link in the description box. This is it. Take care of yourselves and I shall see you guys soon in my next one. Bye.